statement compilation, and personal finance. For more information, please go to www.cpaforthepeople.com or call at area code 630-244-7893. Youthful Savings creates and delivers innovative financial education products through a virtuous approach in order to disrupt the cycle of poverty. We provide affordable college planning solutions through our Financial Freedom web application and program, youth financial education and entrepreneurship training through our My Own Business Challenge curriculum and program, and group youth programs that teach entrepreneurship and financial education. 10 cents of every dollar earned is reinvested into the community saved through the Youth College Scholarships. For more information, please go to www.youthfulsavings.com. Email at info@youthfulsavings.com or call 646-504-7164. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to We Are the People with Tracy Marks and Jorge Estamba, who ask you to know what's happening with your student loan. Tracy and Jorge keep a deep look at student loans in this country and the industries that surround it. Every week, We Are the People will bring you new insight into the corporate welfare industry, such as bailouts, and they connect with student loans. The show will highlight on your constitutional rights and how the current system is built to infringe upon them. Join the conversation by visiting our website chat room at wearethepeople.tv. Or call the show at 888-565-1470 and let us hear from you. And now, let's tune in to Tracy and Jorge for this week's discussion.
Rick Strahl in the anchor seat, the host seat tonight. Welcome. Again, give us a call if you're in our live audience, 888-565-1470. Again, lots of stuff happening, active week. We keep trying to ferret through all kinds of things that are going on. Tracy is putting together the truth about student loans. So if you're in the local area, this is going to be on March 13th at 3 p.m. It's going to be at Florida Atlantic University, the College of Business, room 120. That's the Office Depot Auditorium on the FAU Boca Raton campus. So if you can join us then on Friday, March 13th, we're going to have a panel, and we're going to have some mingling and meet and greet, and it's going to be an interesting event because we want to talk to students, we want to talk to adults, we want to talk to others that are in the community, in the student loan debtor community, and a lot of fine people are going to be on that panel. So again, March 13th, Friday, 3 p.m., at Florida Atlantic University, the College of Business, room 120, Office Depot Auditorium. And we're going to have an interesting panel discussion about the truth about student loans. Join us there. Also, if you're in the area, Deerfield Beach area, South Florida, Boca Raton area, Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale, you can easily get here. These next several weekends, we've got the Renaissance Festival. It's going to be at Quiet Waters Park. All kinds of interesting stuff. Hallie Elise is going to be there. Tracy Marks is going to be there. Taylor is going to be there with her specialty soaps. Always good. She'll probably be making them there, so you can watch her as she makes them. And you can see what she's got, what her line of business is. And that's going to be in South Florida, Deerfield Beach, Renaissance Festival at Quiet Waters Park on the weekends. So stop by and say hi. I've been trying to give you different types of petitions that are going on, different types of issues that are going on, especially as they relate to legislation and rulemakings that are happening. February 26th, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, is going to vote about taking over the internet, regulating the internet. What does that mean? That means costs to us, the user. That means penalties to us, the users. The internet was designed to be a free interactive space where ideas could be passed from person to person. And we had conversation in the community, in the marketplace of ideas. Right? The government wants to take that over and restrict the marketplace of ideas. The corporations want to take that over and restrict the marketplace of ideas, limit our freedoms. If we can do that here, how much more so are they doing it elsewhere? Russia, Iran, Europe, other places that don't want you to be able to think freely, to speak freely, to have ideas and to pass them along. The internet is an avenue for people in many countries to hear things that their governments don't want them to hear, that dictatorships don't want them to hear. And the federal government wants to take it over, just like they're taking over everything else. Big Brother wants to come in and take us over and keep us from thinking freely. They want to put us in that straitjacket, in bondage, back to fiefdom, back to feudalism, back to slavery. That's a fact. Central government's getting bigger, not smaller. It's gobbling up the economy, it's gobbling up the people, and it's making the people its cattle to be milked, to be slaughtered for meat and valuables. Protect Internet Freedom. Protect Internet Freedom has got a petition going on, the protectinternetfreedom.com. Sign the petition. Go to it. Take a look at it. Here's the petition. Internet use and online communication is the scourge of autocratic governments that deny basic freedoms to their people. Internet information has proven to be a spark that creates the fire of freedom in the most oppressive corners of the world. The Internet is one of the most positive forces for improving the human condition the world has ever known. It is the hub of innovation for the economy in America and the world. It is a source of progress, democratic distribution of information, societal change, personal empowerment, and technological innovation. The attempt by the Obama administration to control the Internet as a public utility takes power away from consumers, website developers, and small business owners and puts it in the hands of government and big corporations too. This will drive up costs, slow down innovation, and put unelected political appointees in charge of picking winners and losers. And it will take away America's moral authority to argue that autocratic regimes have no right to assert control of the Internet in their own countries. I'm signing my name here today. Well, I've signed the petition. Get on protectinternetfreedom.com. Look at the petition. If you agree with it, if you're interested in protecting our liberties and our freedoms and the freedom of the Internet, please go ahead and sign the petition. While you're at it, tell your congressmen and senators directly. Call them, email them, write to them, however you communicate with your senators and representatives, to co-sponsor H.R. 449, or to have your senators do a companion bill and sponsor that. H.R. 449. Important. That petition is petitiontocongress.com, www.petitiontocongress.com. What do we want to do here? H.R. 449 discharges student debt through bankruptcy. It allows that. That right was taken away from us. We were made second-class citizens. If you have student loan debt, you are a second-class citizen, if a citizen at all. They've taken your rights away. We want them restored. We want Congress to restore our rights to discharge student loan debt in bankruptcy. H.R. 449 purports to do that. We need to track it. We need to follow it. You might want to talk to Alan Kalenge. He's got a phone number now. All right? From studentloanjustice.org, 202-594-1120. I'll repeat that. 202-594-1120. And there's a petition, www.petition2congress.com, requesting co-sponsors in support for the HR 449, discharge student debt through bankruptcy. Important stuff. Important for us to make our desires known. We're the ones that vote, that keep these people in office. If we just vote blindly, if we just vote for somebody with a D or an R behind their names, we don't know what we're voting for. We don't know what we're getting. We should know. We should be able to look and see what they've been doing for these many decades. They've been subverting the government that was supposed to provide for our liberty, for our happiness as a people, that was supposed to provide for the citizens, that was supposed to provide an orderly path to citizenship, that was supposed to provide for the national defense, that was supposed to protect us, to prevent bad things and bad people from coming across the border. If people are violating our laws and bringing bad stuff, whether they be drugs or guns or terrorism across the border, they're violating our laws. Those are not good people, and we need to protect our borders. Why is our government not doing this? This is the foundation of the government. This is one of the enumerated powers. The reason that the government is in existence, the central government, the federal government, was put into place to protect us and to protect our liberties and to give us a peaceful and free and well-organized economy and place to live. And they're failing to do this. They're bureaucratizing. They're expanding. They're soaking up more and more of the economy. You know, that's why this healthcare debacle is such a debacle. Because the government soaked up 17% of the economy, the healthcare business, the healthcare industry, the health insurance industry. Yeah, we have health insurers now, but they're going to single payer. Right? Those health insurance companies are going to disappear in a relatively short time if this trend continues, because the government's going to say, oh, well, we're going to just do it ourselves because it wasn't working. Well, it was set up for failure. 2,000 plus pages of bill that nobody or almost nobody read because they couldn't read it. The people didn't get it and they couldn't read it. 2,000 pages, 12 to 20,000 pages of regulations by unelected bureaucrats. There they are, telling us what we can and can't do, telling us what we can and can't have, telling our doctors what our doctors can and can't do for us. Wait a second. That's my health care. I want to have a relationship with my doctors, and I want to be able to make the decisions about what is good for me based on my direct relationship with my doctor, not on what some bureaucrat tells my doctor or tells me I can or cannot have, or I can or cannot do. Not good. And why should the government have all this data on me, on my health, on my genes, and the gene pool from which I came? Why should the government have death panels? Yes, there are death panels. Now, you know, people will argue that your insurance companies were no better, and to a certain degree they weren't, but at least there were a number of them and you could make some changes. At least you could have a chance at taking them to court and suing. I know the deck is stacked against us. It's been progressively stacked against us by progressives for the last 100 plus years, at least since the Wilson administration. Oh, when was that? Back in the 19-teens. How did that affect us? Well, it does affect us because those people have gotten control, slowly but surely developed a stranglehold on the levers of government. Their objective is to control the people. Their objective is to control us, to bring us into bondage, under control. Members of Congress have said that. Got YouTube video, look it up. Control the people on YouTube, look it up. You can hear it, you can see it. That's the objective, to control the people, to strip the people of their wealth, of their values, of their valuables. Got to be careful. Got to understand what's going on and what this government is doing. And the stronger the central government, the weaker the people. And the more harm can be done to us. And the less liberty, the less freedom, the less we have. Now we're talking about illegal immigrants being issued Social Security cards. Why? Why should somebody that's breaking the law be given $25,000 in tax benefits when they weren't filing and when they weren't paying taxes? Why should they be given money out of Social Security and Medicare? Why should Medicare be cut in favor of Medicaid to give to people that are coming across the border to take our jobs? Yes, they argue that that the American people are not gonna pick the vegetables and the fruit. They're not gonna work in the fields, and they're not gonna work in Tyson's factories, chicken factories, etc. They're not gonna do the dirty work. Well, manufacturers, mega farms, big business, the farm business, the industry likes to have people come across the border, likes to have illegals in the country, working in the country. Why is that? Because they can bully these people. They can threaten them. They can pay them less. And the government is allowing this. The government is promoting this. A certain party that shall remain nameless, little d, wants to have these people and wants to give these people the vote. Wait a second, I thought the vote was something that was reserved for citizens, for people that were here legally, for people that had followed the rules. And yet we have people coming across the border. Maybe you disagree. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. Tell me your ideas. Can you count on Social Security? Do you want to count on Social Security? I don't know. But the Senior Americans Association has some interesting and provocative reports about whether Social Security is going to be there for us, because money has been ripped off from the system. Congress and the administration have pulled money out of the system. Supposedly there's a Social Security trust fund. It really doesn't exist. These people just use the money as they please. Nevertheless, we keep paying in. We've been paying. This is insurance that we have paid for in our paychecks, month by month, week by week, hour by hour, comes out of our paychecks. We have a problem here. The Senior Americans Association has a petition. They want us to take action. They want us to talk to our congressmen and senators to protect the quality of health care, to allow seniors to be able to stay in their homes and have home health care out of Medicare. And why not? The best place to be is home. That's some of the best medicine, to be in your familiar environment, if you can be there. HR 5110, HR 5110, the SAVE Act, would provide for that, would allow for that, would allow seniors to be able to stay in their homes as long as they can and receive quality health care there in their homes, home health care through Medicare. Cheaper than sending them to hospitals, cheaper than keeping them in institutions. Why not? HR 5110, the SAVE Act. You want to look for the Senior Americans Association on the internet. Get this information, find out about it. Senior Americans Association is also reporting something very interesting. The Obama administration wants to suck $330 billion from the Social Security Trust Fund. They want to take that money out. What are they going to do with that money? Where are they going to put it? We got major holes here. We're inviting millions of more people in to be put on the rolls. People that have never paid into the system or paid very little into the system. They're killing Social Security. They want to take it out of this. They want to take $330 billion out of the Social Security Trust Fund to pay for the Disability Trust Fund, which is bankrupt. Well, why does Congress, why does the administration put these trust funds together and not fund them properly? Why do they allow abuse and waste of fraud to be rampant in these systems? Why are they inviting millions of people to cross the border and giving them access to these systems? They're busting the bank. They're breaking the piggy bank. We're spending trillions of dollars that we are in debt. We have over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities out of Social Security, Medicare, and yet these funds are being depleted, not enhanced. These are things that we paid for. These are promises that were made, and we paid for them. Hour by hour that we work, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We have to pay. Take a look and see what taxes are taken out of your paycheck. They're there to fund the Social Security Trust Fund and Medicare. And yet they're being diluted and thrown away, given away. They're being stolen for other purposes. Mm-hmm. So why are people being given Social Security cards when they come across the border? Why are they being given access to Medicare? Why is money being taken out of Medicare to fund Medicaid? Why are we allowing corporations to abuse people that are coming across the border illegally? Why are we allowing drug cartels to operate in this country? Gangs to operate in this country, violent gangs, to bring guns back and forth across. Why is the federal government doing this kind of thing? And yet the federal government is day by day attacking the people. Here's an interesting thing that just came across today. CIA bought hundreds of Iraqi weapons of mass destruction in Operation Avarice. I thought we didn't find any weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Working with the U.S. military, the CIA purchased some 400 Borak rockets from an Iraqi seller between 2005 and 2006, uncovering and destroying reserves of sarin nerve agent. The New York Times reported. Well, this is kind of late. The New York Times reported this from 10 years ago. Now they're coming around to the fact that, yes, there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and yes, we did find them, and we paid for them in cash to people who had control of them. Sarin gas is a lethal chemical used by Iraq in the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, with occasional CIA guidance, and more recently in fighting in Syria. The stuff is around. Some 300 trucks in convoy went across the Syrian border from Iraq just before shock and awe began. We got satellite pictures of it. It happened. What was in those trucks? I wonder. All kinds of other stuff going on. Our government doesn't lie to us, do they? Our media doesn't lie to us, do they? Folks, you got to look other places. The internet is critical. It's critical to your ability, to our ability to get information, because the mainstream media are never going to tell us this information. They're shills for the power brokers in government. They're shills for the corporations that own our government. We need to take our government back. Important stuff. You got to have other places to get your information from. You know, these are critical things. You know, don't believe me. Go read them for yourself. Go look on the internet. Find out what people are saying. Get other sources of information. There are going to be some kooky things that you're going to find there, of course. Test it. See what you can find out. Because the New York Times just reported to us, even though it was ballyhooed, that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, that we got found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We bought them. We found them. Now we've got shells of poison gas and chemical weapons. And a whole bunch of stuff went across the border immediately prior to the war in Chinese trucks. Very interesting stuff. Left-wing groups that support big government get paid off. Interesting. They get paid off. An article here, progressivism is a parasite. It cannot exist without a healthy, productive host to feed upon. People like Eric Kohler make our government nothing more than the biggest example in history of organized crime. You remember the highly trumpeted $17 billion settlement with Bank of America? Over trillions of dollars in profit from fraud? That's punishable, huh? Any criminal would trade a few billions to make trillions. And of course, that's what they're making, trillions. Right? Bank of America fraud. We just heard about another issue. You know, this attorney general nominee from the administration was involved in a $1 billion cover-up for HSBC, the bank HSBC, laundering money for drug cartels, for people that are bringing drugs and guns and gangs and gang members across the border. Right? You got to look into this stuff because our government is not treating us well. Our government is not doing its job. Our federal government is too big for its britches. It's a bureaucracy that needs to be trimmed and cut back, and we, the people, need to get control of this bureaucracy. We have a constitution. We had a Declaration of Independence. There was a reason that the founders tried to get away from big government, tried to get away from kings and rulers. And here we find ourselves backed into a corner because we've got a ruling class that's controlled by corporations and by big money. We'll see you next week. But look at this stuff. Look for yourself. Tell me if I'm wrong. Have a good week.
You have been listening to We Are the People with social advocates Tracy Marks and Jorge Estamba, who every week bring to the light the needs and changes in our current system. Tune in every Monday night at 7 p.m. on wearethepeople.tv and participate in the conversation in the chat room or call 888-565-1470. Tune in next Monday for more information and facts. And Tracy and Jorge remind you to stay aware of your surroundings and challenges at all times.